Welcome to New Earth Modalities with the Ascended Masters. I'm your host, Danielle Rama Hoffman, together with my guides, Toth and the Council of Light. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Lavonne. Welcome, Lavonne.
Hi, Danielle. Thank you.
And a very warm welcome to you for choosing to be here to be a steward of New Earth. So as each of you are joining us, inviting you to go even more deeply into a state of presence, because in this masterclass, we're going to be diving into connecting through the power of your presence, making meaningful impacts in community through the joy of being. And so I'm going to grab the team here and continue from that space. Hello, dear ones. This is Toth with Sashat, the Council of Light, including the Joy Ray, the Hathors, the Akashic Records, the Emerald Tablets, and many beings of light and love moving more into the forefront of this divine transmission. Lavonne, what would you share, just introducing your modality, because you have brought forward this modality of sacred light and love, and also you connect with the book of truth. So we sense that spiraling in through the energy of introducing your modality will then assist our continued conversation around presence.
Sure. And thank you, Toth and the team. So Sacred Light and Love is my own unique modality that actually came in when I was in the Ascended Master Academy and working with you and the team. And it's rainbow colored light frequencies that connect you directly with source, and they align you with source. And so how Sacred Light and Love shows up for me is that it's often connected to the book of truth, as you were saying. And so an image will drop in for me when I'm speaking with someone or I'm reading someone, an image drops in, and then I acknowledge that image and I follow it. And it almost plays out like a movie. It's like a journey. And that's how I'm accessing that person's unique book of truth and receiving guidance for them. And it's supported by sacred light and love. And through those energies, it's able to align that person to the truth of who they are. It's a way to integrate any energies, any guidance, any healing that took place during a session. Sacred Light and Love is supporting that and helping to integrate until it comes to a place of completion.
And Sacred Light and Love, as a New Earth modality, also works with the frequencies of color and sound. Yes. And as we're starting this masterclass, is there a color or sound that will assist deepening into a greater state of presence, or that will assist the group that's gathering here?
Yeah, so what's showing up for me is a spiral, almost like a ribbon that's coming down from above. And it's a pink ribbon that's just spiraling down. And so that is what's coming in for this group that is here right now. And I'll just bring through some sound to integrate that and to share this color, this pink color, which is the love ray that's coming through. What I'm seeing is an image of the unpreferred parts just being removed, and almost like a disc or a CD that's coming out from the person. So I'm seeing this for everyone. There's a sense of perhaps scattered energies, maybe before sitting down to listen to this. So like those scattered energies that might have kept the person from being fully present, that anything that was keeping them from being present has been removed, and they're now coming into a place of wholeness so that they can be present here. So it's called in presence.
Thank you. And we had the sense that bringing in more sacred light and love, and in particular, this pink ray that came forward, will support us in going as deep as each of you choose to go into this topic of presence, because being present and making an impact through your presence and building community and connections are some of Lavonne's ascended masteries, and also are so essential to New Earth and to the evolution in consciousness. And so, Lavonne and Book of Truth and your unique counsel, we'd love to hear more about presence as it is truth with a capital T, as you would say.
Yeah, so what's being shown to me is perhaps a little exercise to begin, just calling in one's inner light. And so if you may just close your eyes and focusing on your heart. Perhaps you might want to put your hand on your heart, just bringing you into that space. And I'm seeing the image of a candle. And the candle may be any color that you choose, but just a candle with its flame, and perhaps the flame flickers ever so slightly, for there's a bit of a breeze. And now, as you tune in and you focus more on that flame of the candle, as your focus comes more to the flame, it's almost as if the flame begins to grow within your heart center, a little bit at a time. And a space that was before more darkened is brightening as the flame becomes a little bit larger and larger, until that whole space inside your heart center is now awashed in light from this flame, connecting with this flame, this inner light in your heart center, keeping your focus there. That is how you connect with your presence and who you are, your inner light, your inner truth. As you become more and more aware of this light, of this presence, the more you are able to turn it on, it is activating you in a way that can be felt far and beyond by many, many other beings. Now, you might not be aware that this is happening, but we can assure you that it is. For when you choose to activate your inner light and to turn on this light more and more, to show up as you are, exactly as you are giving others permission to also show up as they are, to be in the joy of being. And that is a true gift. For when one person chooses to be present in their presence, and by that we mean activated in their inner light, they are also causing a ripple effect where others are also being activated and their inner light is turned on and becomes brighter and brighter. So if you can imagine a neighborhood, perhaps in the suburbs, that is darkened at nighttime, there are no lights on anywhere, and one person turns on their light in their home, then their next door neighbor's light goes on, and the two neighbors beside them, their lights go on until the entire neighborhood is ablaze with lights. That is how the power of your presence impacts community and creates community in this way, simply by showing up as you are.
And is there more that you would say about this, showing up as you are, who you are? For that is an important message, and you each may continue to be within with your eyes closed, feeling the pink light that's present, this loving energy that's present to assist you in being more of who it is that you are as you are. And anywhere where there might have been a thought that if you are being someone else, that's a better version of you, to bring that back in the wholeness, back in the oneness, back into the source from which it came. So we sense that not being who you are as you are is one of the main disconnects from presence and being present and the power of presence. So is there more messages that you would share about that?
There is often the desire to want to be someone else, that the grass is greener on the other side. So if only I could have that person, that relationship, then I will be better. If only I could have the same things that my neighbor has, then I will be better and I will be happy then. If only I could lose or gain those 5 pounds, then I will be happy. But there is a real joy, a real ease in choosing to be happy now, exactly as you are. There is a gift, many gifts, in fact, that each of you bring, that you are each created differently and uniquely for a reason. No two people are exactly the same, and that is a blessing. For you can learn so much from your neighbor, and in turn, your neighbor can learn so much from you simply by choosing to show up as you are. And by that, we mean showing up and choosing to celebrate the person that you are today, the person who is sitting in that chair or standing in their kitchen or wherever you may be at this time. In this now moment, choose to celebrate who you are exactly as you are today, not who you could be if you achieved the thing that you think will make you a better version of yourself. There is a real gift in showing up as you are today. And how much more ease is that in that simple choice to say, yes, I am choosing just to be me today. And maybe that's all it takes. Maybe that's all you're able to do at this moment, is just to show up just today. Just start with today, that you are choosing to be you as you just for today. And then maybe you do it again tomorrow and the next day. And before you know it, you have been able to string together a series of days, weeks, months, years perhaps, of you showing up exactly as you are, fully turned on and activated in your inner light, in your presence. And the impacts that you have had on those around you who are amazed and astounded by how bright you are, how brightly you shine just by choosing to be you. When others see your light, when others see this choice and acknowledge just this choice that you have made to show up as you are, as we have said before, it gives them permission to also do the same. Hey, if it works for her, maybe I can try that. Look how free she looks. Look how happy he looks. I'd like to try that. What do I have to do? All you have to do is be you. Choose to turn on your inner light every day and be you.
As we're speaking about presence, there is the present moment and being present with the moment. And then what you're speaking about is also the presence, the emanation, the radiance, the energy, the someone's presence. Like if you were going to have a sense of someone coming into a room and they were on the other side of their door, their presence or their emanation of their inner light precedes them. And you would have a sense of their, what we talk about, signature energy. And so there is this uncoupling in this master class around connecting to the power of your presence, also being, of course, being present in the moment, yet also your presence without any doing necessarily. Of course, you're doing. And yet, is there more that you would add about the presence in what we're speaking about as an energy or as a frequency, that it is by showing up as you? And of course, there's actions that are taken from that. Yet it's simply the presence that creates the connection or that creates the community.
Yes, absolutely. So it really is about the emanation of the energy, the essence that is you. And we're just going to take a moment, if that's okay, just to send some energies in the silence, maybe with some sound to support this emanation, this presence, connecting with presence, because we have a sense that that could really add to the group. Your presence, the energy of who you are, does not need to be difficult. In fact, it is the opposite. It is quite easy, for it does not involve doing, it involves being as you are, as a human being. So, what does that mean? Where is it in your day that you take time to connect with the inner you? Do you ask yourself, have I taken the time to celebrate me today, to have fun today? Your inner child inside of you, have you taken her for a spin, a dance, time to play? Do you take that time just to connect with yourself? And that is not so much about doing, it is about being with yourself. And so, with the exercise that we showed you at the beginning with that candle, taking that moment just to connect with that candle, or it could be a light of any sort, and really seeing it turn on. And if you think of it as like a dimmer switch, just turning on the light just a little bit at a time, a little bit more, a little bit more. And the energy that emanates from you when you choose to be in the joy of being. Others can feel that, they can sense it. Now, they might not know what it is that they're sensing, but the energy that they feel from you connects with their energy and allows them, in a sense, allows them to reach within, connect within themselves, and turn on their light. For when you are shining brightly, others around you cannot stay in the dark. They too will also begin to shine. Others will feel the light coming from you, and they too will shine. So when you choose each day, in each now moment, to show up as you are, and just turn that dimmer switch just a little bit on, and a little bit more and more. The more that you turn on that light within you, the more that you are able to connect with others and give permission for others to turn on their light. And the ripple effect is felt far and wide, for it begins with you. And how many people, think about how many people you may connect with during the day. They are feeling this light, they are feeling this energy that's emanating from you, though they might not know what it is, but it does affect them. They are impacted by it. And as they now turn on their light and they shine brightly, they go out and interact with others who are also being impacted. And this is just rippling out through the community and bringing in more and more light simply by choosing to show up as you each day.
And would you be open to sharing a group reading of sorts to unlock some of the reasons why there may be the dimmer switch that gets turned down? Because we're aware that the group that's gathered, that each of you, there is a recognition and an expansion of deepening into presence. And then there's also habits of dimming your light or playing small or feeling safe in certain relationships or certain communities, and then not in others. And that really there's a beautiful opportunity to be in a greater connection in your relationship with yourself and your own presence, and then building more meaningful relationships, more communities, because we know that at this time on the Earth star, at least on the surface, duality looks more loud than ever. The old paradigm is loud, and that some of those reasons to turn down the dimmer switch is I may not be safe, or I may lose love, or I'm so powerful that that could do harm to someone else, or those kinds of, it's safer if I'm hidden, or it's safer if I'm trying to fit into the crowd, that there's, and fly under the radar. And so really the connection with presence in the way that you're speaking about it, Sacred Light and Love and Book of Truth, is that connection to self then is the inner sphere that emanates, and there's more presence that can happen. And yet, as we're tuning into the group field, there's also that sense of, well, I may not always trust even my relationship with myself. And so I may disconnect by whatever those things are. Rather than being present with someone in my presence, I may be checking the phone, and by I we mean you. Or I may choose to numb out in various ways. That real presence and being in community as you are, even while you may be quite different than whomever it is that you're next to. So is there an image or a reading that's coming for the group to get to some of the root as to why the dimmer switch is on in the first place, and the degradation of relationships? And we know that's old paradigm, yet it seems like an important bridge to cross to really be living in this new earth vision of connection and presence and community based on authenticity and the unique signature energy of each individual as a part of the hologram of wholeness.
So what I'm being shown is the image of a child of like preteen age, perhaps around 12 years old, in bedroom reading a book just by herself. And there are lots of voices that this child has heard from since, in this case, it's a she, was little, from the adults around. So when this child, and now I'm being shown this child as like a toddler and running around, and it was stop running and getting into everything. And then when the child would go to school and would get excited about answering something, you know, the child was being told by teachers to quiet down, not to talk over others, and to wait your turn, to not always have to speak. And the child internalized these messages as who I am. There's something wrong with who I am. I am too loud, too noisy, too outspoken. I am essentially shining too bright. I need to dim it down. I need to be more quiet and keep these things to myself. And in doing so, the child turned down the dimmer switch that, as we know, if you look at a small child, a toddler at play, they do not hold back. They are very much in the present moment. Everything is an adventure. Everything is joyful. And that is truly who that being is, although they might be small, but that is truly who they are at that time. And once that dimmer switch begins to be turned down and these false messages are received that who you are is wrong, there's something wrong with you, you need to turn it down, the child internalizes this and carries it forward as they grow up, turning more and more inward, but turned down. And so when the child becomes an adult and is in a group with others, for all these years, most of their existence, they know that they cannot shine too brightly. They cannot be more than the others in that they can't be too outspoken, they can't do too much, as these were the messages that they received from a young age. And so there's a sense that in there's more spiraling in right now, but there's a sense that for the group, many of us have received these messages that have caused us to almost take that candle and put a lid over it, to cover our light. And I'm just going to bring in some energies now to clear and heal some of that messaging, going back to the origins so that the ripple effect can be felt now. There's a sense of a lot being lifted right now, of these dense energies from the group field, allowing more expansive energies to emerge and to flow and be present.
And we're also assisting in this, and each of you are as well. And as there is this bringing forward of the image that came forward of the child and some of the behaviors of being too loud or being too happy, and then the individual interpreting that as something wrong with me, that at this time of diversity and inclusion and equity, equanimity, Lavonne, as you're engaged as well in the rise of consciousness around Black Lives Matter, that we're also tapping into the group in the ways of how that may have showed up, not only from how you act, but simply by who it is that you are. Whether you are born in a female body, most of you have that identity. And of course, there's an evolution in the identity of gender as well, or that you may have a strong proclivity to being a spiritual individual, and that is also been excluded from the mainstream. So is there anything more that, as you're tapping into that density that's being lifted off, when you say your presence as you, simply as you are, that also means whatever size you have, whatever culture you're born into, whatever place in the family, because we're seeing that as well. Like you may be the youngest child, the oldest child, the middle child, the only child, the one of many children. So is there an additional layer to this conversation about presence that really, from the Book of Truth, when you're saying as you are, that there's no wrongness of who it is that you are as you are? And wasn't quite a clear question, yet it was a...
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Absolutely. There are no accidents, and who you are, all of you in your identity, the color of your skin, your race, your gender, your body type, everything about you might be your hair, anything about you that's a part of your identity. There are no accidents. You are the person that you are for a reason. And the moment you begin to embrace that truth, the truth that who you are exactly as you are in this now moment matters. Who you are matters. You matter. You matter, dear ones. And just taking a moment because we can sense a real shift there. You matter. You matter. All of you, exactly as you are, is perfect. And there are many blessings, many gifts to be received and to share by choosing to allow the beauty, the fullness of you to be seen and shared with the world. And now, when we say the world, it could be for some of you, more globally, but for most of you, your world involves just those who are around you, your family members, your friends, perhaps your coworkers and colleagues. Your world is impacted by you just because you are a part of it. So once you accept and choose to embrace, and not just embrace, but celebrate, dear one, celebrate who you are, beautiful you, the light of you, just as you are, all of you. You are really making an important contribution to your community and your world by bringing the fullness, the wholeness of you and every piece of your identity that makes you the gem that you are. Bring all of it into the equation. Do not deny any piece of you, for it is all beautiful. And as we said, there are no accidents. So you are exactly as you are because you are making an important contribution to the world around you just by being you. And this is what we call the joy of being. There's real freedom in just letting it all go and just saying, this is me as I am. I love me as I am, all of me, exactly as I am right now. It takes no doing. It takes no doing. It is just being. And there is actually more of a weight, of a burden to do it the opposite way in feeling that you need to be someone else or need to change who you are or wishing that you looked different or had different things in this now moment. That's more of a burden that brings more of these dense energies onto you that keep you feeling heavier burdened, carrying this weight on your shoulders. And how freeing. Just imagine just taking off. If just imagine for a moment if you were wearing like just a robe that's just made of a very, very heavy fabric, and it weighs about 50 pounds, and you're just carrying it on. You're carrying it with you all the time. Your shoulders are sore, your neck aches, your back hurts a bit because you're carrying this, because you're trying to cover up and hide who you really are. Now, just imagine that you untie this heavy robe that's been weighing you down and just remove it. Take it off, untie it, and just remove it and let it fall down. Watch it as it drops to the floor with a thud because of how heavy it's been. Just shake your shoulders and feel how light that feels. Yeah, the lightness, freeing. Now you can move. Your shoulders feel good. You roll your shoulders back, your neck, give it a little rub. Feels good. That's you. That's you. This is who you are. And if only you could see you from our perspective, dear one, for we see the beauty of you, we see the essence of you, and we love you exactly as you are. And we do not wish you to change anything. We love you as you are, all of you.
Thank you. So, as you're speaking about there not being any accident as to the uniqueness of who you each are, there's also an awareness of the current environment being present in the work that you have or don't have, being present in the place that you live, or that there's that level of the message of the book of truth as well, that it's not only the embracing of your unique self and that there's nothing wrong with you, that acceptance, if you will, of your current grass that's on your side of the field, as you use that example, is also an embracing of the current experience, knowing that there may also be the continued expansion. So we would like to talk a little bit more about that, and then now also how to bring in a deeper meaning into daily life through this presence. And before we do, we want to introduce this special opportunity, this special offer to work with you, Lavonne, and Sacred Light and Love in the Book of Truth with a one-on-one relationship scan. And is there more that you would share about that and what it assists in? Because we know we've been speaking to the group, and yet there's also a deepening into looking at relationships and how relationships, almost a scan of how present someone is being in the relationship. So what is the relationship scan? What happens in that session?
Yes, thank you. So, in the same way that the images have been coming through, during this masterclass, during a session, when I'm working with an individual, an image will drop in, and then we acknowledge it and we follow it. And often it is dealing with, somebody in their life, maybe a parent or a loved one, a romantic relationship. But whatever that question is, we receive guidance as to what's going on and what is the primary block. So it's addressing what is that most pressing thing in this now moment that needs to be cleared. And so with the support of Sacred Light and Love and the divine team in light, we work to clear and heal and shift the energies to allow for more flow in these relationships. Often when it involves relationships with the family or with the self, there might be ancestral healing of the ancestral lineage. I often see intergenerational trauma that needs to be addressed and healed, and clearing for the generations from the past and generations going forward. So those are the potential things that might show up.
And that there really is the opening of the individual's book of truth, and like an Akashic Records reading in some ways, yet not only like all the Akashic Records, yet really the individual's in book of truth, and reading from there. And that relationships are really, we speak about this in our Magdalene Codes of Love program, that relationships are really one of the greatest ways that you get to know your divine self. And we know that there are a lot of modalities that assist in increasing your money, increasing your health, increasing your mission, and they all have purpose. And that this new earth modality, in terms of relationships, also addresses one of the greatest forms of the lingering separation consciousness, which is the absence of a sense of belonging, which absolutely directly impacts your connection to yourself, to source, to all relationships, with money, with work, with time, with all relationships. So if you are resonating with Sacred Light and Love and the Book of Truth, and you're getting that knowing of, yes, I'd like to go deeper, I'd love to have a relationship scan and look into my own book of truth, and shift some of these energies so that I can be more present and have deeper connections and make an even greater impact in my community, then we'd invite you to pick up that special offer and to book your one-on-one session with Lavonne and Sacred Light and Love and the Book of Truth. So anything else you want to add about that? Or does it feel like we covered it pretty well?
No, I think, yeah, that feels complete. That feels good. Thank you.
Yeah, so how does this presence create deeper meaning in daily life? For we know, as we have been partnering with you, Lavonne, since 2020 and the Ascended Master Academy and Divine Light Activation, that there has been this this deeper meaning that has always been really in the forefront of your own personal journey, and now also in what you assist others in, is really having a meaningful life, having a meaningful impact. So how does everything that we've been speaking about here tie into having a more meaningful daily life, not only the big events, yet in the day-to-day?
Yeah, thank you. And I think my modality showed up to me because it's something that I needed, and it's a reflection of my experiences, my own life. And just, I have always worked within institutions, and sometimes you can feel like you don't belong, or why am I here? Or I'm so I'm so my role has no real meaning. What am I doing here? There's so many other people doing the same job. Um, I feel like I'm having no impact. And then I came to the realization that I was actually having an impact in these institutions just by my very presence. By being there, I was bringing about change within these institutions where I worked just by my presence. And that is actually why I was working there. That's why I was there. And so the power of your presence is that regardless of where you are, regardless of where it is that you work or where it is that you live, or the relationships that you have, just by choosing to be there and showing up, you are having an impact, a meaningful impact. Now, you might not initially be aware of what that is. It took me many years to realize what that is. But rest assured that, as we've been saying, there are no accidents, and you are exactly where you are for a reason. And it's all perfect. And the simplicity of it is that you don't need to have a particular job, or be a president or a CEO or whatever it is. Anything that you are doing, wherever you are doing it, just by being there, there is meaning in that. Every day, there is meaning in that, just because you are there.
Mhm. Mm, thank you. And so we know that you are here as a part of this masterclass, and that your presence, even though we've been the ones that have been speaking, have very much informed what has come through in this masterclass. And we see you and we acknowledge you for who it is that you are in the now moment. And as we're wrapping up here, as you mentioned in the one-on-one sessions that you offer, that there's often, or there may be, an intergenerational component to what's going on with the disconnect from presence and the friction in relationships. You also work with Black women around completing the intergenerational aspects. And so, is there more that you would share about that opportunity, and a little bit about what that is, in case that's feeling aligned for anyone to reach out to you to find out more about that component of your work?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I'm being called to create healing circles specifically for Black women, uh, those who are, especially those who are descendants of um, enslaved people, enslaved Africans. And so there's a real trauma, intergenerational trauma that has been passed on. And so I am being called to create these healing circles for Black women. And so if anyone is interested in that and feels that they could benefit from that, then please reach out to me.
Mm,
And I'd be happy to have you as a part of that healing circle.
mm. Yeah. And is there a best email for that as a way to reach, or go to the website, or how can they do
Yeah,
that?
so my website is sacredlightandlove.com. So I can be reached at info@sacredlightandlove.com.
Mhm. And that there is also, with that healing circle, the inclusion of spirituality as well in Black women's lives, that there's that bringing the element of energy work or sacred love and light as a part of the modality that you share. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
So any closing messages about presence, about having a meaningful daily life, relationships, community? What would you leave us with here today?
Yeah, I'm actually getting an image, which I think will be used to integrate and help to support with uh, being in the power of your presence daily. So there's this image again with the pink rain, the pink color of a pink rose. And so if you're willing, close your eyes again and just picture this pink rose, a beautiful pink rose that is in full bloom just outside of your heart. And if you're choosing, you can hold that rose in both of your hands and can then choose to take the rose and allow it to move into your heart center. And as you do so, the pink rose dissolves into pink colored energy that are now spiraling in your heart and moving within your system and your energy field, bringing in more and more self-love that will support you in your presence and allow you to choose to show up exactly as you are every day.
Mm.
Thank you.
You, and we're extending love and appreciation, Lavonne, Sacred Light and Love, Book of Truth, for your contribution to the evolution in consciousness and to the Ascended Mastery lineage of me, Toth, and also to each of you for your presence in this masterclass and your leadership of New Earth, for it takes all of us together to evolve consciousness, asking the Akashic Records to close and inviting you before you get up, perhaps to rub your palms together or wiggle your toes to come fully into even greater alignment with your presence from this deep transformative experience. All is light and love, and we are all.
This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.